Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the apopolypse. Anyway, ever increasing balloon waves, no breaks at the end of each round. How far can you get? Note, saved games will start as soon as you select play. Now you're probably wondering, how is this any different from when you select auto start rounds? Well, normally, even when you have the settings set to auto start, at the end of each round, the next round doesn't start until all the balloons are popped. With apopolypse, no breaks. So let's say round 1 has 10 red balloons, and round 2 has 20 red balloons. Well, basically this whole thing is just going to be one continuous round. So, as soon as you start, you're going to get 30 red balloons, plus whatever each round comes with. So they're taking all the rounds, and it's just one big thing. Let's go. The apopolypse. So right away, we gotta get started. Alright, so what I'm gonna have to do here, in the beginning, we gotta keep it cheap and just cover as much ground as possible. And we are gonna leak some lives, that's a given. We are gonna get beat up, but hopefully we can win. Really can't focus too much on upgrades right away, because time is your most precious asset in this game.
They're getting through!
No crud, Striker Jones.
Nice.
No crud. That's why I put you there.
They're getting through!
Okay, what do you want me to do? You're the one with the cannon. I'm just the war planner here.
They're getting through!
Alright, things are going pear-shaped very, very quickly. We're leaking lives faster than... I don't even know.
They're getting through!
I didn't even have time to come up with a joke. Alright, that should hold him for now. I want to build up a little bit of cash. Strengthen the defense. Or we can just die. You know, that works too. I think this is the first time in Balloon's history where I'm not going to fast forward. Because I need as much time to think as possible. Well, maybe this beginning part. That's still going bad. This is absolutely nuts. It's nuttier than squirrel. So, how are all of you guys doing today? You guys doing good? I hope so. Hope everybody is happy. Hope everybody is healthy. And, you know, just hope everyone's having a good day. Hope it's good vibes. Some people are asleep right now. Some people are at work. Some people are at home making potato salad. And some people are fending off an endless onslaught of balloons. Alright, glue will be pretty useful. I use glue a lot, but here especially, it'll slow the balloons down. Like I said, time is everything in this game mode. Green and white coming through. Oh no, they're getting through! I feel like I got a pretty decent coverage. Now, the reason why I don't have as many stories as most people is because for the most part, sometimes there'll be things that happen, but it's not really story worthy, it's just kind of a thing that happens. For example, I'll tell you this one. Right after I die. Well, no one says it's gonna be easy. Thank God they put this in medium mode, because if this was hard mode, I don't think it'd be possible. Anyway, in high school, we're just gonna call this girl Elena. So, Elena, we weren't really friends, but we were friendly. We had one class together, and we helped each other with work a couple times. So we were more like acquaintances. And one day in gym class, we're playing dodgeball, and this girl got smacked in the face by a dodgeball. It wasn't actual dodgeballs, it was those... I don't know what you call them, they're soft to the touch, I don't really know. Those colored ones, the ones that always get stuck in the ceiling. She got hit in the face, which didn't feel good. Then she got hit in the arm. Then she got hit in the ass. Now that last time, that was deliberate. Some a-hole threw it at her like that, and she just mean-mugged it. See, it's not really an eventful thing, it just kind of happened. So that's why I just talk about the juicy ones. Alright, this tack tower is really putting in work here. I got them heated, so when the leads come, we'll be ready. And then most of these monkeys, I got them so they can see camo. So, for now, we're good, but we're gonna have to do better later. We've only lost 10 lives so far, which... You know, it's weird, because in most video games, you say you lose 10 lives, they're like, holy crud, that's a lot. But considering that you start with 150 lives in medium mode, it's not that bad. Although, if you play poorly like I do sometimes, they'll slip very quickly. Alright, I'm saving up for the shimmer. That way they can just reveal all the camos. That's a pretty good strategy. Shimmer is one of the best things in this game. Where basically any balloon that comes into his radius, he'll de-camo. Which is really helpful for the stronger balloons that come later. Alright, Mr. Jones. Don't let him get through. Alright, I'm just gonna monkey around.
Awesome!
Okay, get all the islands covered. The leeward side, the westward side, whatever terms an island has. Defend the bow, defend the port, defend the skipper.
Yes!
I feel like regardless of what strategy you go for, you should always have at least one super monkey. It just provides good support. It has very high DPS. Or should I say PPS, pops per second. So I hope everyone's just having a good day today. I will say the sound it makes when they pop is very satisfying. I just like hearing and they just shred. Now I don't know if it's because of this game, it probably is because of this game, but at the carnival I have quite the knack for balloon darts. So the trick to the balloon darts is you want to throw it in an arc pattern, you want to throw it like a mortar. So instead of a straight shot, because if you do a straight shot, unless you throw it really hard, it's going to curve downward. And if you do throw it really hard, it messes with your aim. So you want to like arc it and basically get it to land on top of it.
They're getting through!
No, 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 no. Okay, I think I might have had a little too many weak towers. Maybe I didn't need quite that much coverage. I've said it before and I'll say it again because I keep doing this. I should stop doing it. It's a fine balance between having enough towers, but also having them decently upgraded. So budgeting is a big part of this game as well. Now the good news is, if you play this game enough like I have, you can kind of start to memorize the rounds a little bit. For example, when certain balloons are going to come in the picture, when you start getting camo, when you start getting lead. Because even if you have a bunch of them, if you have a bunch of weak towers, sheer numbers will not get you through, the balloons will win. It really just depends on the map itself. This map's actually kind of difficult. I probably should have chosen a better map for Apopolypse. Even if it was normal, this would be tricky. You know what I should do? I don't know if I'm going to do it yet. I should be doing the water monkeys. I'm surprised I didn't think of that sooner. But I already have a thing in my mind. I'm going to stick with this for now. And if it fails, we're going to do something different. Glue is always my go-to. Especially the upgraded glue. It really melts the balloons. Because you know when you get real late in the game, it's not really balloons tower defense, it's blimp tower defense at that point. But they still sneak a lot of balloons, like, within. Like, your towers can get distracted by the blimps, the balloons can squeak by. That really strong glue that just obliterates them not only does damage to the blimps, but also takes care of those balloons in between. I gotta be the master of land and... I was the master of land and sea, but I was not the master of lead. I forgot about anti-lead. Wait, it's only around 23. Are you telling me in Apopolypse balloons appear early? Certain balloons appear earlier? Well, that's just bogus. No one told me that.
I love the smell of bow in the morning.
Heart balloons, boomerangs, tack shooting, darts throwing. It's the end of the balloons as we know it. The apocalypse is here, oh crud, and I'm very worried. Yeah, I've got the fast forward off now, because that's not going to happen here. Now, one thing about Shimmer is it's not foolproof.
Sweet.
Certain fast balloons, or if you put the wizard monkey in a bad spot, they can escape the Shimmer before he does it. So you should still have a few anti-camo towers for those squeakers that get by. Man, I am floundering this time. I did not have a plan whatsoever, I just spammed. So a few videos ago I mentioned that I was working at Habitat for Humanity as an internship. And on my last day, or my second to last day, they actually had a little going away party for me. Because they said they really liked working with me, and they enjoyed the time. So there was a food truck that was in the area. I think it was Mel's Hot Dog or something.
Oh, right.
So we all pigged out on that. We took like an hour break, sat in the conference room and just kicked it for my last day. And then my boss, she gives me this red velvet cupcake. One of the best cupcakes I've ever had. So if you got a Habitat for Humanity near you, I would check it out. You just might find something you like. Now, I did have a second internship, but it was very, very, very brief. This place, I'm not going to say the name of, but it was some accounting firm, because that's what I was majoring in.
Sweet.
And I only stayed there for a few days, because at that place, I pretty much felt like a fish out of water. So on day one, they're having me rearrange some files, and the way the guy explained it, like the way he worded it, he said he wanted me to move everything forward by 1 year. Because every year you get new paperwork and taxes and all that stuff. So everything needed to be shifted by one drawer so we can make room for the current year. It sounded simple enough. Now, I either misinterpreted something or he explained it very poorly. But I do it, and I guess I screwed it up somehow. Because when I was done, I came and got him, and he's looking. And he's just like, what the hell did you do? And then on day 2, we were in a meeting. He still wanted me to be part of the meeting, even though I didn't really know anything. So we're in this Zoom call, and I'm just sitting here, not saying anything, just kind of watching. I'm not sure why I was there. I guess I had nothing better to do. But, you know, they were talking about business stuff, and I'm just kind of like, okay. See, I left there pretty quickly, because it wasn't working. So after I dropped out of college, and after I left that chapter of my life behind, I took a year to kind of just recalibrate. Because I needed a plan, I needed to know what I was going to do. And I'm not mad, but I'm kind of disappointed I let all this money go to waste. I had about $5 grand saved up, because the way my grants and benefits were set up for college, it covered everything, but there was still money left over, so I was getting paid to go to school. And I just needed a break, both mentally and physically. So unfortunately, I did kind of sit around and let that money drain. But I just needed some time to just reset. And I will say that was a fun time. You know, I got to relax, just hang out, do whatever. It was almost like being a kid 2.0. Except better because I have a car. I take myself to McDonald's whenever I want. Get 3 Big Macs. By the way, Ronald McDonald, if you're watching this, please give us that McChicken Big Mac. Please. I need it. I want it. I love it.
In the morning.
But anyway, after a while, I did start getting low on money. I figured, okay, you know, maybe it is time to get back in the workforce.
They're getting through.
So, first place I went to was what some famous man on the internet would call Subway. So I go there, and it was within walking distance of my house, which was really good. And I apply there, and there wasn't really an interview. What they did, there was a piece of paper and there was some basic questions. Most of them was math. Like, if someone gives you $5, the total was $2.98, how much change would you get? It was stuff like that. So I filled that out, I handed it in to the lady. She's like, alright, we'll call you back in a few days. Well, a few days came and went, and I did not get called back. Now, little interesting thing. when I went to that
They're getting
Subway a few years ago, it was multiple employees there, but now it's locally owned, so I don't know if they sold it. But now it's a husband and wife working there, so it must have changed hands at some point. So then I go to a sit-down restaurant. I'm not gonna say the name, but it's a nice patio restaurant where you can go outside and sit. And I was either gonna be a busboy or a server. And I get there and I'm talking to the manager. And this time I'm actually getting interviewed, so I get one step closer.
They're getting through.
And I feel like I did a pretty good job. I was confident in myself. I looked nice. I answered their questions good. And we get done with the interview, and the lady goes,
They're getting through.
"So I'm just concerned that you're really not going to be reliable. So it's going to be a no for me, but, you know, thank you for, you know, coming here and asking for a job." Now, I have no idea what I said that ruined it. Because I didn't fumble, I didn't go too far overboard with the enthusiasm. Like, I kept it in the middle. Because you know how some people are, like, they have, I call them trigger words, like, they look for certain things in people, and I must have accidentally done something that she didn't like. But regardless, I did get to the interview part, so I was making progress. I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit. I'm going to tell you about my first interview. So, about 5 years ago, I tried to apply to McDonald's. That was the first place I applied to. And it was my first interview. This interview, I bombed. I was nervous, like, I didn't really do it. There was one question, like, I took too long thinking about it, and I just couldn't come up with an answer, which was really bad. So, and also, I didn't know this at the time, but I came in the McDonald's around noon during the lunch rush. Although it wasn't that busy when I got there. And I asked, like, "Hey, I'm interested in working here. Do you know how I can apply?" And I didn't know it was the lunch rush. And my dad, who's worked in restaurants for years, he's like, "Well, that's probably they were mad because you asked during the lunch rush." So that, combined with the bad interview, that's probably why I didn't get hired. So I will say, the interview I did at the patio place, that went a lot better because I was a lot more confident. But unfortunately, it did not land. So then I give it a few more days, and I try again. Now, this is where a big chapter starts. March 12th, 2022. I walk in to a little place called Burrito Horn. You probably heard that name on this channel before. I walk in there, but this time, I wasn't there for food. I was there to make some money. So I walk in, say, "Hey, I'm interested in working here. Do you have any open positions?" I give them my number. They tell me to come back in a few days, and they'll call me if they want me. I'm sitting in my room, playing Balloons Tower Defense. I get a call on my phone. They tell me to come in and set up an interview. I say, "Okay, great." I get to this Burrito Horn,
Love this
and it is the fastest, simplest interview I think I've ever done. Not just for a job, but fastest interaction I've had with any human being, period. So, this guy, he was very tall and very blonde.
Yes.
He looked like Justin Bieber if he was better looking. So, we sit down at the table, and it was basically 3 questions.
Sweet.
Like, can you get here on time? Are you interested in working here? And I forget what the third thing was. But literally, it was 3 questions. He goes, "Okay, you're hired. Come back tomorrow. We'll start you." that point forward, that started a domino effect of many, 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 many interesting escapades that I'll delve into later. But we'll save that for another video. But it was really funny. It seemed like the interviewer himself was unprepared for his own interview. And I think time-wise, it lasted about 1 minute. And it's like, okay, you're on board. Come aboard. Now, like I said, my dad, he teaches now. He's been teaching for about 14 years, if not longer. But for the decade before that, he managed at Steak and Shake and Applebee's. And I tell my dad about it. I'm like, hey, Dad, you know, I did it. I got the job. And I told him about the really quick interview. And he goes, yeah, that's restaurant. You got a pulse? You can work there.
They're getting through.
Well, we've lost a good chunk of lives. And we're not even halfway to 60 yet. I've got the shimmer, I've got the glue, I've got the boomerangs. These are the best monkeys in the land. My father, he had the best tack towers in America. No other tack towers even came close. Okay, I promise I am not trying to get political. I'm not trying to do any of that.
Sweet.
All I'm saying, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be really, really, really close. It's gonna be a photo finish. I'm not gonna say who I'm voting for. I'm not gonna say where I lean, because that's gonna start a war. All I'm saying is it's gonna be a close race. That's all I'm saying. I'd say purple balloons are my biggest weakness because most of the time I use fire and heat, and purple balloons are immune to heat effects. Even the plasma from the Super Monkey, like, they're not immune to it, but it takes a second for them to actually pop. So I always try to keep at least a couple, like, I don't know if that applies to the hot glue or not, it might. One thing that really helps with the cannons, if you give them the frag bomb upgrade, when the cannon shoots, it sprays out shrapnel, and that's just sharp metal, so it'll tear right through the purple balloons. That's one thing about Balloons Tower Defense 6, it introduced a lot of new balloon enemies. We got DDTs, screw those things. We got purple balloons. And then every once in a while, you'll randomly get a golden balloon. It'll give you monkey money. Alright, here's the Super Monkey, coming in to save the day. Save us from the apocalypse, Super Monkey! I remember back in middle school, not this version of the game, but, you know, if you were in the computer lab and your work was done, it was this, it was Papa's something Bria, where you made the food.
Sweet.
Let's see, some cool math classic that was Run. It was like Temple Run, but it was 3D. So you were an alien running, and you could rotate the screen 90 degrees at a time to avoid pits and stuff. Now, there was this one game on Cool Math, it was Christmas themed, but we played it all year round. I forget what it was called, but the game was kind of like Angry Birds. You had to launch Santa into the chimney. And obviously there's obstacles and things to block you. But you have to be strategic and get Santa into the chimney. And me and my friends at the time just like screwing around with that game. And every time Santa would get burned, because there was fire in the game, every time Santa would get burned or he would fall down a pit, he went, it just made this amusing noise. And back in middle school, that was comedy gold. So we would just, and he got multiple Santas, and the goal was to do it with as few Santas as possible. So we would just spam the fire button, because I think he got shot out of a cannon. We called it the Santa Bazooka. And he would just spam the mouse button and he'd go, It was stupid, but back then we loved it. I wonder if Cool Math Games still runs, or if they took it down. And also, you know how in the Balloons games they have messages like, here comes the camo, watch out. I think it was the third Balloons. It said something like, hey, don't tell your teachers you're playing this during class, or else they won't let you use Cool Math anymore. They literally fourth-walled the website that it was on. Now that's meta. Okay, so in Apopolypse, it's confirmed. It does throw more balloons at you. Because usually the first Moab comes around 40. It was 43, we got 2 Moabs. They failed to include that in the warning. Either that or just didn't read it. Now, a bit of a spoiler, but much later down the line in hard mode, there is a mode called Alternate Balloons, where it does exactly that, makes harder balloons come faster, or earlier. So you gotta be prepared a lot more. Now, one thing kind of funny about Burrito Horn, the guy that interviewed me, when I actually started working, I never saw him again. I think he quit. The only time I saw him was when he was doing the interview, but after that, disappeared like a puff of smoke. Never to be seen or heard from again. Well, clearly, I did not win this time. This time was a flop. But hey, sometimes you flop. You can't always win. And that's the lesson here. And I'm gonna go make some mac and cheese. So, as always, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And everybody, just do me a little favor. Have a great day.